Welcome to the Fast Track Listening Program. The ideas presented here are intended to assist in developing a strong and profitable business for IBOs, powered by Amway and affiliated with Marker Man Productions. Enjoy the following message.
I was just going to share a few minutes with you today and talk to you about the relationships in the business. And, building a great team is about you and the relationships that you build with other people. Relationships are the heartbeat of our business. And there's people that are here this weekend that have been with Bob and I for many years, and they're family to us today. It's funny how when you need somebody and you ask somebody on your team for help, they're there. And if they need us, we're there for them too. Sometimes it's a little bit different with your family. When you ask for favors, there's always payback. But in this business, you have people that really care about you. And that's what we love so much, the relationships that we've built and the relationships that you're building as you're going through the ups and downs in the business. And there are ups and downs, right? People will always be our number one product, and that's a good thing. They're our number one product in the business, and our business is so unique because it's open to everybody, regardless of your age, your size, your background, your profession. It doesn't make any difference, and that's what we love so much about it. Everybody from all walks of life are here, and that's what's so wonderful about our business, because all you need is a dream to build this business. And, people sometimes think you have to fit in a certain mold to be in our business, but you don't. Everybody adds diversity to our business, and that's what makes it so unique and so special. So if you have a dream, that's all you need to build this business. One of the things you have to do to be able to build a successful relationship is to be natural, be yourself, accept who you are, and don't be afraid to be you. I know a lot of people come into our business and feel, oh my gosh, I have to be like him. I have to look like her. I have to speak like that person. I have to be funny like that speaker. You just have to be who you are. And, the Plan A world sometimes puts us in a box, in a mold, and wants us to be a certain way and act a certain way. So when we come into our business, we're a little bit afraid to just let our guards down and be ourselves. We're always afraid we're going to have people object to us or criticize us, but you don't have to be afraid in this business. You have to use your God-given skills, and every single person that's here, every single person that you'll prospect, everybody that you'll meet has God-given skills and talents that we want to hear about and we want to see. The MMP system can help you develop those skills and talents, and you have to step out and use your talents. And I know the first time, we walked across the stage at a business event, and, we had to say our names and what we achieved. And at that time, it might have been going 100 PV. And we were nervous because right away you think, oh, I'm going to be judged. But you're not. And it's funny how people that are fearful, the more you achieved as time goes on, everybody here is very accepting of you. And they want to see you climb further in the business. And the system helped us, and it helps you too. We always talk about reading, we always talk about listening to the audios, coming to events like this, because you see such a diverse group of people come across the stage, share with you. They all have so much to give, so much talent, and you're saying, wow, there might be a place for me. And guess what? There is a place for you. Everybody's here for a reason. We're all connected to each other through thin threads. And that's what makes it so special when you get to come up and share your talents and your story on stage. We have great role models in our business. Jody and Kathy are our role models. And we look up to them because they set the standard for what our business is all about. And you look at the leadership, we look at the diamonds, we look at, the platinums, we look at everybody who's building this business and the leadership role that they have to take when they have a team. And it's wonderful to see that everybody is striving for the same good, so we all succeed, because everybody's success in this room, regardless of your direct line of sponsorship, we all benefit from that. And that's wonderful because we're all part of the same family, the same team. You know, everybody has value and everybody makes a difference. And, you know, I remember when I first started at Sears, I was fresh out of college. I was the only woman that was on a staff with 12 men, and they were all at that time like the age of my dad, and it was very scary for me. I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. Why are they putting me in this position? I don't know if I can handle it. But then I stopped and I realized, they said, hey, wait a minute. You know, I got hired for a reason. They hired me because I have the skills and I have the talent. And that's what you have to remember. You have skills and you have talent and you're going to succeed. Just take it day by day and step by step. People will respect what you're doing and things will fall into place. You know, I guess the system, when you look at it, you say, gee, you know, I've read books and I've listened to audios, I'm around the people, but we never stop growing and we never stop changing. You know, I know Bob and I have been in the business for a while and we're still growing and changing. But we know that this business has helped to develop us into the people that we are today. And we're excited about that. Because when we came into the business, you know, we were different than we are today. You know, over the years, and just being associated with the right people made us become more relatable and made us more, I guess, unskeptical to what was offered here. Because, again, we came in with our guard up because we were fearful, as a lot of people are. We have to learn to embrace everyone's differences. And, you know, Bob and I, when we first got married, you know, I knew he was Mr. Right, but I didn't know his name was Always. And, you know, I love him. You know, we're very different in a lot of ways. He's very task-oriented, and he's like one thing at a time. And me, as a woman, like a lot of women in here, what do? We multitask. We can talk, we can listen, we can do things physically at the same time. That's just who we are. You know, sometimes, you know, he's very black and white, and I'm very gray. I'm more emotional. But when you care enough and it's important enough, you learn to compromise and make it work. And, you know, in a few weeks we're going to be married. Can you believe this? 45 years. I mean... And, you know, our relationship today is better than ever, and I know the business has so much to do with that. You know, it's the same with people in this business. We can't all be alike, and you heard that already spoken about today, that if everyone was the same, number one, the business wouldn't work, and number two, it would be boring. You know, the diversity of people with different backgrounds is what makes it so wonderful, as I said. And, you know, some of the relationships that you're going to develop are going to be different. Some people it's easier to gravitate to, maybe because they do have a similar background. But the relationships with people that you have the hardest time to gravitate to, that you develop, will be the most rewarding relationships. So what you need to do is step out, stretch, and make those relationships start to happen. Now, our sponsor was young. He had no children, he wasn't married, and we were a married couple with children, you know, when we first started out. And he was always like very business-oriented with me. You know, he was all about the products and the PV. And, you know, one day I just exploded with him because I had things on my mind about what was going on with my family, I had other responsibilities. And I hung up with him on the phone. At that time, you know, we did it by telephone. And I said to Bob, I said, this is not working with me and Paul. It's just not working. And Paul and I sat down. We had a heart-to-heart because we realized we both wanted the business to work. So what did we need to do? Work on a relationship. I need to compromise. He needed to compromise. We found a happy medium, and we became very close. And sometimes that's what you need to do. Just compromise a little bit, and your relationship will grow and be that much better. You know, we both had our shortcomings, but that's okay. When you identify those and realize that, that's a good thing, because then you can work through it. You know, you can't change someone else, but you can surely change yourself. You know, if people like you, they can relate to you. Be positive. Learn to smile. And learn to say hi. Sometimes Bob will say to me, he said, who's that you're talking to? Or who's that you said hi to? And I'm like, I don't know. It just, you know, a person, they looked at me, I looked at them, I smiled, they smiled, and you start to make conversation. And, maybe it becomes very natural and easy for me, but it's not that hard to do. And, it makes a difference in a person's life. Not that you're going to prospect everybody that you meet, but it starts to create this relatability that you can have and develop with other people. Have likability. If you like what other people like, they're going to like you. Find your common ground. Sometimes you have to say, I know how you feel. I felt the same way, but this is what I found. Move people by moving their hearts, and that's what you do. Become relatable that way. Keep your focus on other people rather than on yourself, and you have to be genuinely interested in others. What you see depends on what you're looking for. You see a big P on somebody's forehead. Are you looking for PV, or are you looking at them with potential? Potential is very important, and people will grow to what you believe they have. Have their undivided attention, and you have good eye contact with them when you speak with somebody. Engage, ask questions, let them know that you really care about them. Be a relationship maker, not a relationship breaker. Don't pretend to know it all. And the young can learn from the seasoned, and the seasoned can learn from the young. And listen, respect, and understand one another. It's not about you, it's about what together you can accomplish in this business. And just because you might be older doesn't mean you have all the answers, or if you've been in the business longer, it doesn't mean you have all the answers. You still can learn, and you have to be open-minded. And that's what's so great, because our business is constantly changing. And if you are willing to be more open-minded, my gosh, you're going to grow and change in a great way too. Raise everyone up. And John Maxwell said, when you believe in people, they grow. People are our assets in the business, not your liability. And we all gravitate to the people that we're most comfortable with, but it's important to stretch and develop the relationships with those people that are different from you. Be generous and kind, with your statements. Once the words come out, you can't take it back. And I know that you might have a bad day here and there in your plan A, and you come into your plan B environment, and maybe somebody on your team, your upline, your downline, did something that set you off a little bit. And you might say something you don't mean, but you've got to be proactive, not reactive. Sometimes you got to think, pull it back before you say something, because again, when the words come out, it's hard to pull them back. Speak words of encouragement, not words of discouragement. MMP is a feel-good environment. Don't you feel good being here this weekend? Let's be honest. Life does get in the way, and things happen, and I'm sure there were situations before many of you came here this weekend, but it's okay. You got here because you were meant to be here. Our goal is to lift each other up. Kind words do echo, and it makes a greater difference and an impact than we realize. It's better to believe the best in somebody and be wrong than to believe the worst in somebody and be right. Think highly of everyone. Until you're proven wrong, don't listen to hearsay and prejudice. Sometimes people have had a relationship or an experience with somebody. They'll relay it to you, but you don't really know the person. Judge on your own. Don't let somebody else be the judge for you. The two most important words and elements in a successful relationship are respect and communication. Poor communication creates unnecessary situations. And, messages do get lost today between email and texting, electronic devices. Live communication is always the best, because why? It shows your emotion, and that's what you need, because things can be very misinterpreted. There's a difference between growing your business and building your business. Growing your business is working with people to help them grow and develop and change. Building your business is just doing the mechanics. People get in this business for what? They get in for the money, but they stay in for the relationships. Our business is a team sport. You heard that spoken about today. Be committed to the team and spend time together. Tie into everything you can, because it's a priority for your future in the business, regardless of what it is. If it's a meeting, it's a promo, it's a holiday get-together, it's a summer picnic, whatever it is, tie in, because you know what? Those are the times that you really have a chance to talk, to be together, and to build those quality relationships. We is greater than me, and we need each other to grow. Our differences make us stronger, as a team. Isolation will lead to bad habits. Remember, we are better together. So let's stick together. Let's grow together. You guys are awesome. Continue to have a great weekend. And now here's my better half. Here's Bob.
Good job.
I love you.
Good job. I don't have money with the time. All right. Woo! All right. Good job. Good job, babe. Well, we always try to think about things to say that we haven't said before, and Sue, we clicked on the relationship thing, and I think it's so important. And it brought back a story, a great story that I shared with our team, but I think it's important that I share it here with the passing of Rich DeVos. And a couple of weeks ago, and obviously one of the biggest entrepreneurs on the planet that created what we're still involved in, you're involved in, and it'll go on for another 60 years. And it's an amazing thing how him and Jay were partners that, and if you've read some of the books and heard the stories and whatnot, it was really a handshake agreement back in high school. When Rich, they made the deal for 25 cents to give Jay gas money or whatever to take Rich to school. I mean, an amazing thing. Quite a few years ago, Sue and I were invited. We were blessed to be invited by Rich, by the office, to be at a building dedication in Delaware. It was the University of Delaware, and Rich and Helen had donated, I don't know how much money, to build the study, for the Richard M. DeVos study for building or hall or something, for entrepreneurial studies, wouldn't you know? Okay, and they built this building, and the day came to dedicate the building. So we were invited with, maybe 3 or 4 other diamond couples that lived in the area or could get to Delaware, could drive there. And we were obviously very excited and whatnot. And so we get in the car and we drive a couple hours to get there, and it's a mob scene with all the muckety-mucks. I mean, all the muckety-mucks. Everybody walking around, everybody's chest popping out and all this with the big cars and the limos and this, that. The DuPonts were there, and this one and that one. And lo and behold, in comes this helicopter. It was really cool. And people are in line, actually. All these muckety-mucks were in line because they hadn't opened up. It was an outdoor facility and it had a huge tent, and probably maybe a little bigger than this room. So everybody, of course, turns around, and this helicopter's coming in, and it landed pretty close to, the tent, maybe, I don't know, maybe 500-600 feet away. And, of course, on the side was Amway. And there's 2 muckety-mucks, you know what I mean by mucky, They spend money they don't have to impress people they don't like, to buy things they don't need, blah, blah, blah. And they're talking, and they said, yeah, that's the guy that dedicated the building. Okay, like, what are you doing there? You don't even know why you're there. And said, yeah, that's the guy that owns the Orlando Magic. Not the entrepreneur, not the Amway thing. Oh, that's the guy that owns the basketball team. That's the guy. At that point, Rich and Jay were the 4th, according to Forbes, they were the 4th wealthiest men in America. That's the guy that owns the basketball team. And anyway, out comes Rich, and he had security with him and whatnot, and they had to take him into a special entrance. Anyway, he does his speech, and of course he always begins his speech by, I'm Rich DeVos, and I'm just a savior. I'm just a sinner saved by grace. And I don't know who was in the audience and what the mix was with the religiosity that was in the room, but that's how we started. And he gave a great 15, 20-minute speech about entrepreneurship and the beauty of America and beauty of freedom. It was terrific. And for some reason, we were supposed to get a recording, and we never did. And I don't know if it wasn't recorded or something happened, but we were there, and we were like sitting here, and Rich was here. And we were just thrilled, and it was great. And afterward, when he got done, some people came up to him, the press came up to him, some people from the college, and he said, look, I'd love to spend some time with you guys, but I need to see, I have some special guests here, I have some diamonds from my organization that I really need to spend time with. And he kind of blew off the press and blew off, and he kind of did this to us, and we're sitting there like, okay, where do we go? And we followed him into the building that he just built. And we went into this special, beautiful library, big mahogany, just double, 15, 18-foot ceilings, beautiful. And there was a huge desk there and whatnot. And he comes in, he takes his jacket off, and he hops up on the desk. I mean, I remember it like it was yesterday. And I'm in the front, the little chairs they had set up, and there's maybe 10 of us there. And, he's hanging over the edge of the desk with his Armani suit on, his Versace tie hanging down. That's what I'm looking at. He's got his Gucci's on. And he just started chit-chatting with us. I mean, it was magical. And why do I say this? Relationships. It was more important to him, the fourth wealthiest guy in this country at the time, to spend time with people. He knew our hearts. He knew what we were part of, something that he had dreamed about how long ago. And so you talk about relationships. So he said, he complimented us. He thanked us all for just building the business, making the world a better place. We're sitting there like, are you kidding me? And then I'm going, come on. No, I didn't do that. But he said, any questions? I have a question. And I thought this might happen, so I said, I got to have a question. And I asked him a question that he got all the time. I said, Rich, I really appreciate the time and whatnot. And you and Jay were together years and years and years. Now, Jay was still alive at the time. And you shook hands. I'm an entrepreneur. I had 4 businesses when I got into the Amway business. And I don't have 4 anymore, thanks to the Amway business. Thank you very much. But what was the secret? There had to be a secret. There had to be something in this day and age and in this world that kept you guys doing what you're doing and continue to do and do it as good as you do on a handshake. Is it really a handshake? Is it real? And he laughed. He said, I get that all the time. He said, because it was a handshake, and to this day, at a multi-billion-dollar level, it's still a handshake. Jay and I have never, ever had a piece of paper between us. Now, as the kids came along, and as things change, and tax laws change, and of course there's paperwork, of course there's things that need to be done, he said, but as far as Jay and I, that wasn't necessary. I said, was there one thing? He said, there were actually 2 things. 2 things that we built our life on together as fathers of 4 each, husbands, and as world entrepreneurs. He said, the first thing that we've always had is trust. We've always trusted each other. There was never a question going back to high school up to today, trust. We trust each other implicitly with anything and everything. Families, finances, business, politics, we trust. Trust. He said, and the second thing is we've never, ever, to this day, blamed each other for anything. We've made mistakes. We've screwed up. We sunk a sailboat. We invested in an airplane thing. We did this. We did that. The Amway stuff. There was problems. There was challenges. Okay. He made some great decisions. He made some bad ones. I made some great decisions. We never pointed fingers and we just sat there and it was an amazing time. We spent about an hour with him. And so my message to you, in lieu of all the stuff that Sue talked about as far as relationships, think about that relationship as you go out to build this business. Think about, just how much of a relationship do you have with your upline, with your mentor? Hopefully you have one, someone you can confide in, somebody you can talk to. Okay? Is there a trust factor there? If something doesn't go right, who are you blaming? Who are you blaming? And I took that lesson that day, and I've carried it for a lot of years, that that, it's so easy to blame. And all we see today, you don't have to go very far to see fingers pointed and this blame for that and this one did that and this is that. The relationship is a very tough thing. Most people today out there in that other world, okay, have the separate agenda for the bottom line or for this or for that. That's sad. That's what it is. It's reality. We can't get away from it and whatnot. But the Rich and Jay, just like Sue and I mean, this was Rocky Balboa dating Mother Superior. I mean, it was just, and I was just telling Steve backstage the first date we went on 46 years ago, because we were engaged for like a year, right? I pulled up with my white Corvette, T-tops, had the princess phone between the seats. Didn't work, but it impressed her, okay? And her father's looking through the window like, what's going on? Who is this greaseball? I mean, it was just like, but total opposites. People told her this is the last guy, because I was floating around doing stuff, different world back then. And why would you, and he's this, and just talk to the other women and talk, like I was, and I wasn't. I was pure as the driven snow. But why? But, and here we are 45 years later by the grace of God, and a lot of flexibility and just we're blessed. There's no doubt about it. We're very blessed. Just like Rich and Jay were. But they worked at it. Trust, never blame. We still work at it. 45 years. We still work at it. 7 grandchildren. 3. We still work at it. But today it's some fun because we get to a point today that Sue and I will just start laughing. She'll say something. I'll say, I'm going to get mad, or she's going to get mad, or something's going to happen. We just we laugh. And that's a great place to be at. So relationships are how flexible are you as you try to develop this thing with whoever you want to develop it. Understand that our business, and this is, I think, the hardest thing for people. It's kind of a term that you hear. Have long-term thinking, long-term mentality. Be a long-term planner. Okay, that sounds good. It's hard. It is hard. Okay, I met a guy. Well, it's kind of interesting. He's not at this function. He was a very special guy in our group that passed away suddenly. He was 84 years old. Loved this business. And we went to his memorial and blew me away. How 1,000 people in the church. It was just, we knew him fairly well, but not as well as we thought based on this memorial and whatnot. And he just loved the business because of the relationship that he had developed. This guy was a didn't realize it, knew he was pretty well off, mega millionaire. Loved this business, not in it for the money, didn't really have a group. He would drive himself 2-3 hours away from Pennsylvania to wherever we were, Opens. He would be here this weekend. And a couple of us remarked and said, don't you see Laren walking around here? Okay, special guy, special relationship. He loves Sue and I. He would walk into a meeting, he'd say hi to me and flash over to Sue. And just a great guy. But he was in this because of relationships. And I know we're in for the money. I know we want to make the dollars. And there's nothing wrong with that because there's great things that those dollars can do. It gives you choices. It's given us a lot of choices, okay? But the relationship that we have with some people sitting in this room, the relationship with our team, the relationship with family, the relationship with our church, the relationship with the legends backstage, that's the whole deal. Outside of this monthly check, we'll take it. But you know what? It's great. Somebody once said, with all the technology and all the stuff out there, it's not enough to wire the world if you short circuit your soul. Think about that. I heard Sue say, make live conversation. Emotion can be, you can feel emotion. You can do. That's what this is all about. That's what this whole weekend is all about. So take this stuff the weekend. Take your notes. Yes, learn from Ron Ball the 96 points of breathing or whatever. Okay, I don't know what he's going to do this afternoon. It'll be something. But guy's amazing. Okay, take all of that. Take all of it, package it, use it as you see fit. But as you go out and you develop and you grow and you make things happen, get relationships with people. Build friendships. Stay strong with people. This world is a tough place, but it becomes really special when you got special people around you, just like you do this weekend, just like we do. Okay? Just remember that. Hope it helps. God bless you.
This is a copyrighted program of Marker Man.